Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Firliana Rias. I am major English literature at Sultan Agung Islamic University. Today, I would like to present theory about the love of Medusa by Helene Cixous. What is Helene Cixous? Helene Cixous is a French feminist professor, writer, poet, playwright, philosopher, and literary critic. Helene Cixous was born on June 5, 1937 in Oran, Algeria. Cixous is best known for his article The Love of Medusa, which established him as one of the early thinkers of post-structural feminism. In 1975, the French feminist writer Helene Cixous published an essay entitled The Love of Medusa. In it, she developed an entirely new theoretical concept with the aim of creating a feminist voice. In the text, Cixous strongly supports the idea that women need to write. He claims that there is a very close relationship between women's bodies and their writing, both of which have been repressed by men for centuries. For Cixous, women who start writing will also be the beginning for them to regain their voices and bodies. In her essay, The Love of Medusa, she broke the notion of a previous great feminist figure who said that women were oppressed without any invitation to them to actively break the patriarchal culture. He invites and encourages women to come out of him who has been repressed for years. According to Cixous, behind woman's perspective, there is a deep desire to be creative and give a voice, which is a fundamental right of every human being, although still living in a thick patriarchal culture. Cixous said that women had to break it down through writing. Cixous divided writing into two types, namely masculine and feminine writing. Masculine writing uses straightforward, rational, and candid language. Meanwhile, feminine writing prioritizes expression and imagination. To understand feminine writing, the reader is forced to follow to the end of the story due to the use of poetic language full of feeling. According to Cixous, women have a strong imagination. Therefore, he invites women to pour out all their sexual desire and secrets by writing. By writing, it means that women regain control of their bodies and minds that were once controlled by men. Women have to write for themselves. Women must put themselves in writing and show it to the world and history, said Cixous in her book. Écriture féminine in the Love of the Medusa. Cixous argues in her essay that the other history of writing has been one of phallocentric tradition, which has contributed to hamper women to think, create, and innovate. She argues the woman to shatter the traditional masculine oppressive discourse with governed literature for age and create a new genre of writing called écriture féminine or feminine writing by using their bodies as ways of communication and as means to assure themselves into the text, word, and history. In other words, Cixous instigates women to write about their bodily experimentation, which stands for a supplier of sexual arts and drive for creativity. Taking this idea into account, she believes that a woman will have the ability to destroy the past and its repressing language only if she explores her own body with a feminine language. For her, women's bodies are direct basis for female speaking. She also encouraged women to write in white ink, which is a metaphor the good mother's milk. That is to say, she desires to assert the significance of reunion by referring to the maternal body, which stands for the connection and wholeness. Cixous coins the concept of écriture féminine, translated as feminine writing in English. In this work, The Love of Medusa, Cixous uses psychoanalysis to interpret the Greek mythology in a manner that challenges the patriarchal hegemony. Cixous uses the Greek myth of monster Medusa, who has been depicted a fierce, ugly woman full of rage and has snakes instead of hairs on her head. According to Greek myth, Medusa was cursed by the goddess Minerva, turning her into a monstrous figure with snake hair and a gaze that could turn anyone to stone. She was killed by the warrior Perseus by cutting off her head. Helene explains that this myth of Medusa's extermination depicts men's attempts to silence women's voices and cut off women's language. The Medusa metaphor is associated with the modern psychoanalytic analysis of Freud, who states the Medusa's head remains the male of castration. Cixous takes Medusa's head as a proof to demonstrate how the men whose minds are haunted by idea of castration are unconsciously weak at the sight of women's sex to the extent they have fear of becoming women. Cixous uses the metaphor of the love of Medusa as a tool to reject the very idea of truth. Binaries that are deeply ingrained in Western patriarchal dogmas, as she says that you only have to look at the Medusa straight on to see her, and she's not deadly. She's beautiful and she's free to express themselves in their writings. It's like the Medusa can finally love after being in a restraint that makes her unable to do many things and shows her strength. Looking at all of this, we can conclude that a woman who writes about herself, her desires, and her sexuality by bringing her body into the text will destroy the logocentrism that has been built by men. Women who are always attached to a passive, negative, inferior, binary opposition will disappear with women's writing. This writing is a revolutionary act that can change the worldview of women and destroy the rationality that has been built so far. Thank you for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.